Hi guys, and welcome back to Hilltop Farm. Today we're going to make roast duck with an apple gravy. As you probably guessed, yet another recipe to try and use up some more apples. But it's delicious, and you can work the same principle for a roast pork. So you can do a roast pork with the same gravy, and you do it basically the same as we're going to do here. The only exception, of course, is you don't stuff your roast pork, alright, whereas you do stuff your duck. We've given him a bit of a rinse. Alright, now what we're going to do first is inside the cavity here, I'm going to pop 1/4 of an onion. Okay, I'm going to take a clove of garlic, just give it a bit of a squash, chuck that in. Now some herbs, okay, a little bit of thyme, poke that in, couple of leaves of sage, squeeze it up, break it up, you know, it helps release the oils. And then rosemary. Right, it's quite a hefty branch this, but poke it in. Now, if you're a Girl Scout or a dressmaker, by all means stitch it up, but I use toothpicks. Okay, and all I do is pop it through like that and like that. Now I'm just going to move everything along so that you can see what we're doing. In the meantime, boil your kettle. Okay, what we're going to do is we've boiled our kettle. Now we're going to put our duck in the sink. Now this works particularly well with all poultry, but we're going to pour over hot water, and when you do that you'll see, if you watch the skin, you'll see it all sort of come, it stands up on end, and it helps it get a nice crisp skin on it. So if you watch, now let it drain for a second, and then we'll take you back up the other end to the assembly area. Right, now we take an oven roasting pan here. We put a dash of olive oil in the bottom. Now pop our duck in there. I've got the neck from our duck. I'm going to throw that in. That just adds to the flavour of the pan juices, which is, you know, what we're looking for. Okay. A few sprigs of rosemary down the side. Bit of sage scattered about, bit of thyme scattered about. It's a very slapdash, isn't it? Well, you can roughly break up your onions, but only rough, you know. Chuck them in. Okay, now I'll just pop these back a bit. I've got, what have I got there? 5 cloves of garlic. Bear in mind there's one inside the bird. Okay, now just give them all a gentle crush. Again, it's to release the juices, you know. Now, some of you might find this revolting, but I don't actually care. When you've had a bird that's frozen, you get a lot of juices come out of it when you defrost it, which is what's happened here. Now, I keep the juices. A lot of people say, oh, you mustn't, you mustn't. What a load of poppycock. If it was still in the bird, you'd be cooking it, and at the end of the day, again, we're not eating this raw, it's going to be cooked. So in go all my pan juices. Then I chuck in potatoes. Okay. I must ignore our dogs. We breed papillons, and they're due to be fed, and they're complaining outside rather loudly. Okay, so in goes all your potatoes. Now, apple. Put all your apple in. I know this looks very weird and wonderful, but it does work. All will be well. But you're wanting the pan juices. So, there you go, as evenly distributed as you can. Isn't that starting to look lovely? Now, more olive oil. And you want this lightly drizzled all over your apple and potatoes. Just lovely. And finish off, you know, with a good dollop on the bird. Right. Now we've done that. Pepper. Plenty of pepper. And Himalayan salt. You don't need as much salt as pepper, obviously, but again, you want to be able to taste it. Okay, that is that. Looks fit for a king, doesn't it? Now, you preheat your oven to 350F or 180C or gas 4. Now, this is about a 2 kilogram or just under 4 pound. So I would probably go 2 hours on that temperature. I'll be checking it after, or probably an hour. Give the vegetables a bit of a mix if they need it. And then in that last hour, keep an eye on the vegetables. You don't want to overcook them or burn them. If you think they're ready, take them out. So that's it. I better go and feed our noisy dogs. I shall pop this in the oven, and I shall be back when it comes out of the oven. Okay, now this has been on for about an hour and a half, and it's looking lovely. Now, the apple is done. So, but the potatoes aren't. And I dare say This isn't either. Now prick the duck thoroughly to release some of that indigenous fat that's in there. Okay, now first things first, we need to get all of the apple out. And as you're going round, pop any herbs back in that you accidentally pick up. Now, transfer your apple to a saucepan, being careful not to pick up a potato. Because at this stage the potatoes are still hard and you're just as likely to chip a tooth. We'll tip it up, we'll get all the juices out of it. Right, now make sure your potatoes are coated with oil. Okay, now back in the oven she goes. Right, now that's back in the oven to cook. Now here we have our apples. Okay, you don't want them to be spitting juice up at you because it's hot, so just slowly work your way round, crushing them as you go. Okay, once you've got it to that kind of consistency, what you want to do is a little bit of butter. So just sort of a generous knob of butter. Alright? Now you want to put that there. Okay, mash that through. Okay, now half a glass of Moscato. Now, those of you that watch my other videos will know my opinions, but in case you've missed that, do not use cheap rubbish. Use a nice wine that you'd be prepared to drink yourself. Rubbish will just ruin the dish. So, half a small glass of Moscato. Okay, you can go for a Pinot Grigio if you like, but we're after not so much a dessert wine, but a sweet wine like Moscato. So you pop that in. Okay. Now, mix it round and sort of meld it in. Okay. Now cover this gravy and leave it to stand. We need to wait until the bird and the potatoes are done and come out of the oven. So we'll be back then to show you what to do. Okay, our duck appears to be done. So we're just going to drain it off a fraction. Whoops. And then we're going to pop it on there. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely glorious. So we're going to turn the potatoes up, put them on a fairly high heat. You know, up over 400 and 400 F and over about 220, 230 C, and gas 7 or 8. Really get it roaring, because they're basically cooked. We just want them to colour up, really. So we're going to throw those in for another 10 or 15 minutes while the duck stands. Now, our potatoes are all done beautifully. So, start picking them out. You don't want any of the other stuff in here. Okay, we want to neatly arrange this around the duck. Presentation counts for so much in cookery. Yes, it has to taste nice, but if it doesn't look good, no one will want to eat it. And then, let's be honest, it doesn't matter how good it is. If no one wants to eat it, what's the point? So, as I say, work your way around. Think of it as an oil painting. Okay, there we go. Now, first thing we're going to do is to take this out of the way. Okay, I'm going to put a lid on it and move it to one side. Right, now, okay, pop the neck in there. Now what we want to do is we want to drain all the pan juices. Now, so yes, there's an awful lot of fat in here. And we don't want all of that in our gravy, because it will be a bit much. So, strain it all off. Now, we put our gravy on the heat. Now I'm going to add just a small amount. Can you see that? Just a small amount of that. I'm going to add. That's it. The rest will be put aside for wonderful things. You've heard of your great-grandmother rubbing goose fat on your chest when you had a cold? Well, let's just say I'm not going to do that. But that will be saved and used for cooking. Okay, now we want to reheat this. Now, do you see how this is thickened since we put the wine in. So basically we're just heating it through, because that's all you're doing, you're just heating it through. You put it in, well, I'm using a gravy boat, but you could put it in a bowl. And when you pop it on the table, you just put a spoon in it, and people just serve it, you know, with the spoon like that. And that's it. So, it's as easy as that, and that's roast duck with apple gravy. As I said at the beginning of the video, you can do the same thing with a roast pork. Very easy and very tasty. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe to our channel and not miss out on any more of our recipes, hit the red subscribe button. Leave a comment below if you like, and share us on social media. And from now, it's goodbye from Hilltop Farm. See ya!